Greetings, YouTube. My name is Dr. DM.
And I'm the Mind Flayer Slayer, and today we are bringing you a deck tech on Noctis, Prince of Lucis. So, this deck is a artifact combo reanimator birthing pod essentially style deck. It gets really powerful really quickly. This is definitely not CEDH tier, but it is definitely not casual tier. We are very strongly in that bracket 4 area for this deck. It has lots of combos, lots of synergy, so let's get right into it.
Who do we have? Our main protagonist from Final Fantasy 15, which is Noctis, of course. His text reads, he has lifelink, he's a 4/3, and you may cast artifact spells from your graveyard by paying 3 life in addition to paying the other costs, in this case, usually mana. If you cast a spell this way, the artifact enters with a finality counter on it, which we will counter that.
Yes, we are going to be countering those counters, and the lifelink on Noctis is going to help us continue to boost our life as we drain from casting out of the graveyard relentlessly. You don't actually typically want to play Noctis on turn 4. You definitely can on turn 3, but you're going to want to generate some of that really good value so that when he comes down, you can just explode across the board. Next up, we have Karn the Great Creator. This is a planeswalker that is going to allow us to cast spells that have been removed from play with those finality counters, and we can do that as long as this card is up. This is one of the few ways you can actually do this in Magic the Gathering, to have a constant ability to actually bring back artifacts that are in exile.
And they're going to be exiled because of Noctis' ability.
We also have Walking Ballista. This is one of the Wincons for the deck. It's going to allow you to punch face when you have that critical mass of mana. It's pretty self-explanatory. You are definitely going to want to hold this one because it is going to have a big target put on you as soon as it comes down on the board.
And then we have Dogside Chef. This is a great staple to have in most sack decks that are black-based, and you can sacrifice for 1 in a black. An artifact, of course, or a creature, so you draw a card, you're getting things in the yard and getting value back for those.
Up next, we have Esper Sentinel. This is one of the best artifact creatures. It's one of the best ways to draw cards in white. It's very powerful. It can be reanimated with Noctis. Definitely a expensive card, but a very valuable one.
Then, of course, Hex Parasite. This is another invaluable piece for this deck. You pay X and black and move up to X counters, which are those finality counters from target permanent, of course, includes artifacts. Overall, still very critical piece to get soon or get out of your graveyard.
Incredibly powerful. Baleful Strix is an artifact creature. It's a good blocker early in the game. It's going to draw you a card, and it's recurable.
Then we have Chronomancer. This is another way to get redundancy, to make sure you give a way to sacrifice artifacts to draw cards and get them in and out of the graveyard using Noctis' ability.
Yep.
And you can unearth it too for value later.
Indeed. Up next, we got Goldz, Crystal Collector. This is surveil whenever artifacts enter. So it's going to allow you to fuel that yard, and then you can also use it when you have a critical mass of artifacts in the graveyard to reanimate creatures as well. So there aren't a ton of creatures in the deck that aren't artifact creatures, but there are some key pieces that definitely have the ability to push you ahead or help win the game. So having the ability to get that reanimate on a creature is definitely valuable.
And if you like Final Fantasy 2/4, you know who you are. This is a great character to have just in your deck.
Up next, we have Mendicant Core Guidelight. This is one of the few cards that anyone cares about from Aether Drift. It is a good body on board, as well as it's going to allow you to copy artifacts, which can get out of control as the game goes on.
Incredible. Then we have Mirror Retriever. Mirrors are always fun. When this one dies, you return another artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Self-explanatory.
And it is an infinite loop in the deck. One of the most famous ones, and we will get into the specifics of that in a little bit.
Ooh. Next we have Oaka, Traveling Merchant from Final Fantasy X. You can tap it to remove a counter from a non-land permanent you control, such as an artifact, and then draw a card.
It's so good. You need it and you get the card draw. Ornithopter of Paradise, basic mana dork, can be recurred.
Great. Then we have Winter, Curse Rider. I actually like the art on this a lot.
Oh yeah, it's very cool.
Pretty cool. It's very...
Another Aether Drift card, of course.
Yeah, artifacts you control have Ward, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
Especially if people are going up against you. And you can do the Exhaust ability, which you only do it once, unless you flicker it or whatever. But this is kind of like a board wipe for artifacts. They get -X, each other non-artifact creature does.
Forensic Gadgeteer. This is a great value engine. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you're going to investigate, so you'll be getting that clue token, and it's also going to allow activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less to activate, so just good cost reduction.
And clue tokens are artifacts, by the way. Next up, Junk Diver. It seems like it wouldn't be that important, but A, it's an artifact creature, and when it dies, you return another artifact from your graveyard to your hand.
Near Dev, Devious Diver. This is a great way to get cards into the graveyard because you can be discarding, and whenever you are casting cards from your graveyard, you're going to be getting a +1/+1 counter on it and the ability to draw a card. You're going to be casting a lot of cards from your graveyard, so you definitely want this.
Card draw.
Yeah.
Then we have Raphine. What has been said about Raphine? Yeah. It's amazing. You know what it does. It has connive, gets stuff in the graveyard, and just like ultimate value machine. for 3 mana.
And you can put those +1/+1 counters on Noctis too, if you want to, so that you can get more lifelink to offset some of that life loss that you're going to be getting every time you cast an artifact out of the graveyard.
Very good. Ratchet Field Medic. This is a Transformers more than meets the eye.
It's
and
so
then
good. This one's got lifelink. Again, you need that lifelink, and whenever you gain life, you may convert it, and that's going to allow you to return artifacts from the yard. Its backside is also going to flip back when you have artifacts put into the graveyard, so it's just this kind of constant flipping engine that's allowing you to bring things back and forth. It's very good.
Called the Ambulance.
So Scrap Trawler is one of the other pieces needed for the Mirror Retriever combo. You're also going to need a Sacrifice Outlet and then one more artifact. This is going to allow you to create infinite colorless mana in most situations. And once you have infinite colorless mana, you just have to have one of your many Wincons on the table, and you can
Pew, pew, pew.
pew, pew, pew.
Immotex, the Storm Lord. This is from the 40K, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And this is a great, it's artifact creature. When one or more artifact creatures leave your yard, you create 2 2s. That's going to be happening a lot because...
2 2/2s.
Yeah. No, 2 2/2s. 2 2/2s. Noctis grabs them out of the graveyard, and then you're just creating value, lots of creatures to attack or get value with later by stacking them.
Yeah, it's really powerful. This can be a Wincon in the deck for sure. Phyrexian Metamorph, you're going to be able to copy your own artifacts or copy the best thing on the board and make it an artifact. So nothing much more needs to be said.
Urza, Lord High Artificer. Everyone knows the power level on this fella here.
Game changer.
Yeah. Speaking of getting mana that you need with the untapped artifact, adding blue, and just getting these artifacts in and out, you are creating an ultimate value machine here with Urza.
Yeah, if you want to go wide, this is one of the best ways to do it.
Here we have our first MDFC, the Witch Enchanter. Well, you're usually going to play it on the creature side, and what it does, it just gives you a way to target removing artifacts or enchantments that the opponent might use against you, or to try to win the game, because we want to win the game.
Absolutely. Up next, we have Audon Soldier. You may have this creature enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it isn't legendary, is an artifact in addition to its other types, and has Myriad. This is a really, really good card in this deck, especially because you want to know what you want to target with it? Your commander!
Or also whoever you have access to.
Really anything. It's just busted. It goes super powerful, and giving artifacts Myriad is crazy.
Yeah, because they all swing out and then copy their effects up to how many players you're going up against. All right, Cybermen Squad. This is also from Doctor Who, right? Non-legendary artifact creatures you control have Myriad. That's great. It gives a lot of artifacts in the field, and then if they get in or don't get in, you can sack them to get more value with Noctis, and so on and so forth.
So good. And Reanimate Classic. Again, a lot of the artifacts are also creatures, but there are still some very good just regular creatures that you might want to reanimate.
And Buried Alive, you can get 3 creatures from your library into the graveyard, and guess what you do with them? Because they're also artifacts. You get them back out with Noctis.
Reanimate! Their Name is Death is going to allow you to destroy all non-artifact creatures.
Asymmetrical one-sided board wipes are amazing, and this is probably a win condition, honestly, for the deck. Even if you don't start comboing off or whatever, this is a way to reset the board and make sure you're number 1.
An offer you can't refuse is a counterspell, but more importantly, it is a counterspell that generates treasures. Treasures are artifacts. So you want to know what you want to do with this? You want to counter your own artifacts, because that's going to allow you to get them into the graveyard, get 2 treasure tokens so that you can ramp, and then cast them again anyways.
Fantastic. Next is Dark Ritual. This is amazing.
Swords to Plowshares, classic removal. Deadly Dispute.
Oh, you know what I like about this? It targets artifacts, which is huge. You can actually sack treasures as well to get the value going on this. And
it gets a treasure as well.
Yep, and draw cards.
Frantic Search, again, you're wanting to untap so you get that ramp as well as get things into the graveyard. Fabulous.
And Void Ren, this is a pretty awesome Esper targeted removal here that cannot be countered and destroys any non-land permanent, which you don't find in all colors, so this is a great one.
Obtruse Appropriation, this is a really kind of a sleeper card for Modern Horizons 2, but it has Devoid, so it has no color, and you can exile a target non-land permanent, and then you can cast that card for as long as it remains exiled and spend colorless mana, as though it were mana of any color to cast it. You're generating insane amounts of colorless mana in this deck. So the ability to just get rid of the worst thing that's across the board from you and then cast it yourself, it's an incredible spell that's going to hate on your opponents and also make you more powerful.
We actually won quite a little bit. We did limited pre-release and got this guy and did pretty good as well. Okay, Ancient Excavation. This is one I wanted to add because I like the sort of like Time Twister-like effects, and it fuels your graveyard just from your own hand. So discard like 7 cards if you need to, and then that's all in the graveyard, draw 7 more, and if you need to cycle it because you're kind of flooding on lands, that's the option too.
You could also sub this for like a Windfall. So Mishra's Bauble is just like one of your early plays. It's giving you card draw. You're going to be able to get this out usually multiple times because you can recast it. It being a 0 mana artifact means that if it's already in the graveyard, the turn that you bring Noctis down, you're going to be able to use it right away.
And Mox Opal, this is of course a very powerful card. If you have $250 to grab it, you can add 1 mana of any color, only if you control 3 or more artifacts. That's what we're going to easily have of our artifacts, so great way to get some ramp.
Yeah, this is a very high power build, just that disclaimer. With all of these cards, you can choose the lowest printing, or you can make substitutions for things that you have. There's an entire list that we're going to be linking down below that includes all of the cards, and then there's a whole considering pile that you can swap cards in and out, as well as just tackle that mana base. You can remove a bunch of that to get the deck price down significantly.
Next up, Aether Spellbomb. This is great recursion targets as well. You can spend blue to sack it, to return a creature card to its hand, or draw a card with it. Yeah, good early one, or good one to just recur again with Noctis.
Yeah, Manifold Key is going to allow you to untap another artifact. We really don't care about that second part. It's going to allow you to untap an artifact. This allows you to go infinite with many options, from Basalt Monolith to, the Staff of Dominion. It's very, very good.
And Soul Ring. Wow, this didn't get banned.
Shocking.
And next up, we have Arcane Signet. Add 1 mana of any color, you know what this does. And Lightning Greaves, you know what this does. Protect Noctis.
Mesmeric Orb. This card is insane. Whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller mills a card. That means every land that you tap is going to have a separate trigger for milling. This is very good for you, but it's also going to be dumping stuff into your opponent's graveyard. And if they're not having the ability to recur those cards, that's taking those out of the game.
Okay, and Moonsilver Key, you can sack it to search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card should you need it, if you're getting mana screwed.
Yeah, this is really specific key to find, like, your Clan Crack Ironworks is one of the main ones that you're going to want to search for.
Sure, it's like a Trinket Mage, Trophy Mage, but in artifact form. And next we have Perpetual Timepiece as mills, because we'll need to fuel the graveyard. You can exile it, and if you do, you shuffle a number of target cards from your graveyard into your library, which you probably won't need to be doing very often.
Yeah, but if you get a little overzealous and you feel like you need to reset a bit, you can do this.
That's true. If someone's trying to mill you, I guess, in response.
Power Conduit is going to allow you to remove a counter from a permanent you control, and then you can put a charge counter on a target artifact. That comes into play later. Or you can put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature.
And we have Swiftfoot Boots to help protect Noctis.
Absolutely.
The threats. And I really like this one. This is a personal addition I wanted to make to the deck. You can tap it to sack another artifact or creature, which you'll have plenty of, hopefully. Draw a card, but the main effect here is you can discard your hand and then transform it. Discarding your hand is already amazing, because then if you have Noctis out, you can then start getting things back onto the battlefield. And when that happens, you transform a journal into the Tomb of Gloditz. Aclazotz.
Mm-hmm.
Tap it for a black mana, so you're kind of ramping a little bit. And you can tap it to cast creature spells from your graveyard this turn. And of course, because you just dumped your hand, you can start casting them back out.
Very good. Witchclaw Talisman. This artifact enters with 3 wish counters on it, and it is a tutor. Now, there are some downsides to this insofar as you are going to be giving this to your opponents. However, I want you to answer in the comments down below. I think that you can remove counters from this using one of the lands in the deck that allows you to move counters onto another permanent. And then you could send it to your opponents with no ability to actually tutor anymore. So tell me down in the comments below if I'm right about that. I'm not 100% sure. Planet Acid judge about it, but you can also use this with the Manifold Key, and if you untap it in response and put it on the stack, you can get 2 trigger tutors so that you can keep fueling, and then only 1 other player would have the opportunity to get a tutor.
Next we have Assimilation Aegis. It's equipment. When it enters, exile up to 1 target creature until this equipment leaves, so like a Brutal Cathar kind of effect.
This is also going to allow the attached creature to become a copy of the creature card that you exiled, so you can take a threat and become that threat.
Very good. And Basalt Monolith, this is awesome. If you have the way to untap it, you can just generate a ton of infinite mana.
Repurposing Bay. This is what makes this deck essentially a birthing pod deck, because Repurposing Bay is birthing pod for artifacts. It's very powerful. You can start dumping things into the graveyard. You can untap this with your Manifold Key, dump some more, be ramping up. I have on turn 5 been basically using this to generate so much mana because you're recasting those 0 mana rocks. It is just insanely powerful. You're going to be playing Solitaire for a minute, to be honest.
And this is even played on Standard, so it's pretty powerful. Then we have Sculpting Steel. You can have this artifact enter as a copy of any artifact in the battlefield, so if you double up whatever it is you're doing, that's your main strategy on the board at the time, you can make sure that happens double time.
Or just get another Soul Ring. Staff of Domination allows you to do a bunch of crazy things like draw cards and untap creatures and gain life. There are many infinite combos with this in the deck as well.
Then Aetherflux Reservoir. This is an infinite combo as well, And what's really great about this is because you're paying 3 for Noctis to get the Unearth ability, essentially, you can get 1 life back in different ways, so you are not dying from your own commander.
Yeah, it's really good. Krark-Clan Ironworks is, again, a staple of this deck. It allows you to sacrifice an artifact without tapping it. In order to add 2 colorless mana. This is going to be generating one of your many infinite mana combos and is a great way to dump mana into things like Aetherflux Reservoir using this card.
Then we have Ballista Citadel. This is an amazing legendary artifact. You can just grab stuff from the top of your library, paying life, and if you have ways to get back life, such as with the Aetherflux Reservoir, then you're just kind of like winning the game.
Yeah, pretty much winning the game. Gonti's Aether Heart is another win condition in the deck. Whenever an artifact you control enters, you get 2 energy counters. You can pay 8 and take an extra turn. So
wow, so artifacts are just coming in, you're building up the energy counters on this thing. It's really only, you only need 4 artifacts, honestly, to get the 8, because you get 2 every time. You might be like chaining extra turns, so be careful, because tier 1, 2, and 3 of the commander brackets don't allow chaining extra turns, so you definitely better make sure you're playing this and you're being honest. This is a tier 4.
Very high power tier 4. It only has 2 game changers, but it can still be a tier 4 with just 2 game changers.
Next we have Portal Phyrexia. Oh, I love this one. Each opponent sacks 3 creatures, and then you're bringing them up from the graveyard. So if you boost up your mana, ramp it up to get 9, get this out ASAP, because, I mean, you know it wins games.
It does. Mirrodin Besiege is also another way that you can go wide or win the game, because at the beginning of your end step, you draw a card and then discard a card. And if there are 15 or more artifact cards in your graveyard, pretty easy to do with this deck. Target opponent loses the game.
That's hilarious.
It's so silly.
Yeah, Field the Graveyard, get stuff out, and be like, you lose, and you're next.
And since it's on end step, also, that's what's really powerful about it, because you can play it during your turn, and you don't have to wait a whole turn to win with it.
Oh,
or
incredible.
to take a person out.
Yeah, I love that. And next up, we have Solemnity, which is one of the key pieces to this deck. Players can't get counters, so that includes, of course, you, and then your artifacts, or things that are getting Finality counters from Noctis, because then you can sack them and bring them back, and GG.
Biotransference allows creatures you control to be artifacts in addition to their other types. It's the same for creature spells you control and creature cards that you own that aren't on the battlefield, so that means in the graveyard or in your deck. And also, whenever you cast an artifact spell, you lose 1 life and create a 2/2 black Necron Warrior artifact creature token.
Incredible.
So this has been our coverage, our Noctis Deck Tech. Let us know what you think. We know that this is an oppressive deck. Please know that we know that this is an oppressive deck.
Which a lot of the Final Fantasy commanders seem to be, honestly, if you build them correctly.
Yeah, we're
very strong.
Bringing you 2 more that are also very, very powerful and honestly kind of play together in terms of power level in a pod.
Vivi and Sephiroth. Spoilers.
Spoilers. But let us know. We realize that the deck is expensive. There are ways that you can cut down significantly on that price. There are ways that you can take out infinite combos, but we wanted to just go crazy with this one. So that's why we build it this way. Had a lot of fun building it and collaborating on this. And it's pretty unique. I've really looked a lot, and there are obviously key pieces that are in every deck for Noctis, but there don't seem to be too many that are just focused on this, like, just go, turbo, repurposing bay, turbo.
Yeah, so, unless you're going like full CDH, I've seen some builds of that. But overall, if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, or you've played Final Fantasy 50 in this case, and you like that vibe, you like the flavor, or really you just have a lot of artifacts lying around, and sure, maybe they know it's like super duper combo, but you're getting great value just by playing your fun artifacts, getting back from the graveyard, to the battlefield. This is just a fun commander.
It's really fun.
Yeah. Okay, well, this has been our deck tag for Noctis. Get ready, because we have more deck tags coming your way. And let us know what commanders you maybe want to see us build. You're interested in building yourself, and we're happy to maybe try to make a deck around them.
What do you like about the deck? What do you dislike about the deck? Tell us in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.